All right, I believe it is on. Hi, I'm Devan Lepinski, and this is If You Haven't Been There podcast. And my guest is my brother, Tyson Lepinski.
How's it going?
Not bad. And the topic today is hitchhiking. Hitchhiking and alternate ways of travel for super cheap. But mainly we're going to focus on hitchhiking today because it's something we're both familiar with. So let's start it off. What do you think about hitchhiking, Tyson?
I love it. But
Do you love it?
yeah, I do. I love it.
What do you love about it?
I love that you have to put yourself out there. You have to be a good person and trust in
That
other
helps.
people. Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, and trust in other people that they're not going to do you wrong. And when it works out, it's pretty amazing.
Well, yeah, you're getting somewhere for super cheap, pretty much free. Usually it's the exchange for a hand job. No, it's an exchange for it's therapeutic. So when you get in a car with a complete and total stranger, everybody has a story. And usually you don't have to tell yours. They want to tell you theirs. And that is amazing to me in a lot of ways because sometimes you're like maybe dealing with something and here you are in a car. Now you got free therapy, or they do, and they're talking. And next thing you know, you're down the road an hour, 2 hours, a whole day. You don't know what type of rides you're going to get out there. And that therapy, helping another person that's helping you just by listening, just by being there, just by chilling and being like, yeah, just an open ear goes a long way. But I also just want to get into how this all started because hitchhiking is awesome. We're going to tell some cool stories on this podcast and let's just talk about how it started. Tell me your first hitchhiking trip or
I
what
think
inspired you to hitchhike the very first time.
you did.
Of course.
But I want to go But I want to go back a little further than that, and I don't know if I would have the view on hitchhiking that I did today for two reasons. Number one, you have to go out and do it. So then you have that knowledge. And then number two, we heard about it growing up as kids from Dad. He would do it to get to rafting spots or to go from, anywhere.
Oh,
I need to go to a
it helps
concert.
for shuttle.
Yeah, I need to go to a concert.
I think back in the day it was way more common. Now it's not a. Now hitchhiking has definitely been ruined by movies, just word of mouth, probably actual events. Maybe
Yeah.
some kidnapping people, and I just don't know. There's some.
Those risks are inherent for a lot of things. Hitchhiking, yes. But I think every generation has their demonizing story of, I've never hitchhiked because back in 92 or back in 83, it could go back to the original hobos and freight hoppers and stuff, kind of making it up as you go. But I don't think it's that dangerous as long as you have a level head on your shoulders and you are pretty decent at reading people and keeping yourself out of bad situations.
There's always intuition you got to follow, but back in the day, it was a common practice. I think it's the second way to travel, or one of the first ways to travel. Kind of like the first industry is prostitution.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and so in the beginning, I guess if you're looking to mitigate harm on yourself or keep yourself out of sticky situations, hitchhiking is not for you. It is not. It's a scary thing for people that are scared to even go to Hawaii, or they're scared to go on a road trip by themselves. And what I'm learning in life right now is that people are scared to do so much stuff. So this isn't going to relate. A lot of people aren't going to be able to relate to a podcast like this where it's like, oh, hitchhiking. You can travel across the country for like under $100 and have an amazing time. I will say anybody that's hitchhiked that I know, that I've heard or picked up or been a part of hitchhiking, I haven't heard a bad story yet aside from drunk drivers.
Yeah.
Maybe drug-induced trips.
Yeah.
So that is like, I guess that would be the scary part for me. Drunk drivers. And I don't know, it seems to be like when we were hitchhiking across the country, a lot of gays picked us up for some reason. I don't know what the hell.
We're not ugly. We're handsome. So anyway, what I was going to go is like, when and where did you get your first ride? When did you step outside of that comfort zone to seek this adventure?
Okay. To seek this, it was a broken down car. I started hitchhiking when I was, I would say around 10 or 11. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's a totally safe story. So I was in the Dalles, Oregon somewhat, and was being watched by another family. And so we were going camping that weekend. Well, we go through Hood River, Oregon, and we're headed up towards Mount Hood. And it's a really cool little camping trip, and it's beautiful up in that area. Anyways, our Toyota truck that we were driving overheats, breaks down. And the guy that was taking us, I don't know if he was drunk. I can't remember that part, but I started hitchhiking right then to get help with the other kid that was with me. And we walked down the road for, I don't know, we out of sight of the truck. And we get down there, and next thing you know, a cop pulls up. So my first hitchhiking trip was a cop. Cops are pretty common when you're hitchhiking. And so the cop picked us up and took us to the campground where we were going, where we were meeting up with other people. That was my first experience hitchhiking. And of course it felt safe because it was a cop. And that was it. It was like not much of a story there, but I guarantee it was around 1999. Definitely around 98, 99.
Yeah. I remember going on little short trips when vehicles would break down with Dad. But and it was all in between Portland and the Dalles. But my first solo trip out was, and that ride, that guy was just like, all you got to do is buy me a cup of coffee. I was like, I got 98 cents. I really need a ride out of here. Let's go.
What's funny is that guy probably had $10 in change in the center console. You know, all you got to do is buy me a cup of coffee. Well, most of that time that shit, and probably back then it was coffee, 50 cents a refill? I'm guessing, maybe free refills, dude. The United States was pretty cool back then.
Yeah.
So, where was that? How old were you? What happened?
The year was probably 2010. I was in Olympia and was having a hard time getting a job that I could actually make it to because I didn't have a car. I just got back from Alaska. And I knew that there was work in Missoula for me. So I decided to take off. It was like late November, raining like crazy. I met that one guy, and that was my very first ride. And I was like, I had such bad anxiety going into it, just standing on the corner for like 3 hours. Yeah. I think everybody could tell. They're like, I'm not picking that guy up. Fuck him. But then I calmed down. I went back in. I had to grab some coffee, and that's when I met that guy. And he's like, if you want to buy me one, I'll give you a ride down the road. And he took me to, I don't know, 3-4 exits down. So the first ride was maybe 4 miles.
Yeah, a total of what?
And dropped me off
less than 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, of course. So you're going to learn things as you're hitchhiking. Never get dropped off in the middle of nowhere. You're going to want to be near a truck stop, somewhere fucking great. Don't get dropped off on the side of the freeway. Don't get dropped off. Definitely, like I said, in the middle of nowhere. You want to be on the exit
east,
heading in your direction.
Yeah, for sure.
So what made you, aside from work, how did you feel when you got that first ride?
I felt amazing. I was like, well,
It's addicting.
there was, yeah, that fear left me, so a little bit of weight came off my shoulders. Like I can actually,
It's possible.
I can do this.
It's possible.
Yeah. Now where can I go?
Well, yeah, you already had a plan. Olympia, Washington, Missoula, Montana. You get to a point where you're like, holy shit, I just got a ride. It's possible. The anxiety doesn't leave, dude. It doesn't leave. You're like, it's like a drug or something. You get
Yeah, it's like
in a
taking
car.
LSD, and the whole trip is you being up there in it.
I guess for me, it's like you get in the car, you get the ride. You're like, holy shit, somebody pulled over? Okay, I hope they're going my way. You don't even know what to say. You're like, I'm going to Missoula. You're like, you got to learn immediately. You don't want to say, hey, I'm going from Washington to Montana.
Or
no,
New York.
Try to keep it to this is before smartphones. You want to keep it to the next populated exit,
travel hub.
especially in a heavily populated area like a metropolis, because most of the time people are just headed to the next exit or they're not leaving town.
Yeah, but they will give you that ride.
They'll
give you 25 miles.
They might, but you might end up getting a ride that's like
From the same person.
absolutely fucking stupid.
It's 200 miles.
Oh, yeah. So now you've got your first ride. What are you thinking? It's possible. You're like, now I need to stand here, but where are you? What's going on in your brain?
Well, during that ride, I'm obviously shooting the breeze with the guy or the person in the vehicle, the family.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm trying to think, well, where are they going to drop me off? We're talking about it. And how would it help me to get the next ride? And more often than not, I mean, literally 75% of the time that I've ever been dropped off, I've been picked up within a couple minutes when I do the solo runs.
Yeah.
When it was you and I, it was a little bit different story. We had some layovers, but I was just fortunate to be like literally get out and have my sign strapped to my backpack. And someone's like, hey, you're going to Ellensburg? I'm like, if you are,
Yeah.
perfect.
You're like,
Gone.
that's in the direction I'm going, and it's on the same freeway. So that's perfect. Where you got problems is the junctions. Like, oh, I got to go I'm coming into Butte, Montana on I-90, and I got to take,
Yeah, and then
15.
you end up in Rocker.
No, Rocker. But Rocker's an easy place to hitchhike out of, dude. I've done it 3 times or so, even more. Definitely been up I-15 3, 4 times by myself, all the way from San Diego to Montana.
Yeah, and you've been doing this stuff since 2008.
Well, my first hitchhike trip that I told you was just in 99. That was just a glimpse of what happened. And then
But I mean frequently.
2008 was when I started hitchhiking. Straight up
That was a crazy ass
started
story
hitchhiking.
from my end too.
So I'll just jump right into that, dude. It's 2008. Devan Lepinski, he's 21 years old. He's made some mistakes. And he's like, oh, I want to head back to Montana from San Diego, California. How am I going to do it? And I'm like, well, I literally have $10 fucking in my pocket. And I was sleeping in the airport there in San Diego. And I was like, okay, all I got to do is get to the fucking freeway.
Were you supposed to fly out?
No,
Or
I
you just found
I
yourself
was
at the...
in there. Yeah. Well,
Oh.
I was getting kicked out of the military, basically getting processed out, and I wasn't going to go. I had to get home. So what happened is I make it from the airport to the freeway. Again, my second fucking ride ever is like, it's not a Chips cop like that pulls up. He pulled up, a Chips cop on a motorcycle. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing out here? And they're like, you can't be here. So then here comes another trooper. And I get my second hitchhiking ride was a cop. So I'm off to a bad start, really, in my hitchhiking career. And I get a ride in a squad car up to a gas station. He's like, stay off the fucking freeway, dude. Like, if I see you out there again, I just want to make sure you're safe. So he was a pretty cool cop. He didn't say fucking or nothing. I added that. But now I'm like, well, I'm not going to. I want to try this different technique. I'll just ask people at the gas station to give me a ride up to Oceanside or something, just closer and closer and closer.
Instead of walking down the road in hopes that your thumb was going to do the job.
And I can't really remember if I got a ride from the gas station or I walked my ass back out on the freeway. I ended up on the freeway again, no matter what. But so I'm assuming, I think, if my memory corrects me, and I have a whole journal about this. I should have went through it and took some notes real fast. I got that ride. I got another ride from some dude in a convertible. He's like, what's up, man? You know, like, hop in. I'm like, fucking A. He's like, where are you going? I'm like, Oceanside. And he's like, I'm going to Dana Point. I'm like, take me to fucking Dana Point, dude. All I have is this backpack. It's fucking hot as hell out there, but the ocean breeze is really nice in California. I actually really miss that area. It is fucking fun to be there. It's not that bad. Anyways, I get this fucking ride up to Oceanside or Dana Point, California. Now I'm completely fucking broke. Well, that's a lie. I have roughly $65 in my fucking pocket. And so maybe 80. Not much, dude. Not much to fucking live on. Especially planning it. I'm not sure how far it is. It's a long way.
Yeah.
It's like as far as you want to go in your first hitchhiking trip. Like, this is a big feat. You're thinking, holy shit, I made it 20 fucking miles. I have like 1,800 to go. That's a fucking heavy thing. Heavy pill to swallow when you're 21 years old, getting like booted out of the military. Not really totally booted out of the military, but getting processed out. And so I get this next, now I'm in Dana Point, California. So I'm in Dana Point and I'm like, fuck, I got to find a spot to sleep. So I jimmy the door at a fucking motel. And not really, you know, I walk in and then I find the pool. I'm like, I'll just fucking sleep next to the pool. I fucking went over well for like me unpacking my bag and kicking back. I have I got like a 25-liter backpack. Yeah. I got no blankets, dude. I got flip-flops, shorts, one set of pants, and like maybe 2 T-shirts and a fucking bottle of water.
And you're sleeping next to an indoor pool in a hotel?
It was outside.
Oh.
And they come down there. They're like, hey, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, I just need a spot to sleep. I'm from Montana. This is my dilemma. I'm trying to get back. And he's like, well, I can get you a room. I'm like, you can? So I'm like calling my dad. I'm like, Tad, dude, I need some fucking money. I'm going to get a room and I need to go back. I'm coming home. And he fucking totally denies me. He's like, nope, you dug this pit. You're going to fucking get out of it. I can't give you any money. I'm like, motherfucker, this is night 1 on like a hitchhiking trip from fucking hell.
Yeah.
Dude, changed my life. I get so the motel clerk is just like, I can give you my employee discount, AAA discount, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, fucking A. So I get this room for like $60, roughly. Nice. Holiday Inn, I think. Dana Point, California. If I looked at Google Maps right now, I can show you exactly where the fuck it is unless they've torn it down. I got a jug of water. I'm going to fucking hit that continental breakfast hard in the morning because I'm pushing. Next day, Temecula, California. I get a ride, can't remember. Some surveyor picks me up smoking dope and shit, and he fucking takes me up to middle of Los Angeles. Like, oh, fuck. I'm a white dude, Montana, fucking Van skate shoes, pretty good shape, fucking, like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but it is day 2. So I've made it through day 1, dude, which is gnarly enough to comprehend, like, oh, I've been hitchhiking. I've had maybe 5 rides up until that point. Now I'm like a fucking expert. I'm like, all right, I need to go to the gas station, top this fucking bottle of water off. I found a sticker on the side of the road, slapped it on my fucking Gatorade bottle. Now I'm like, okay, I'm picking shit up off the road. I'm fucking getting rides.
Getting
I'm
into
like,
the groove.
hey, I know where I need to go. So I end up in Temecula, California in the middle of the fucking night. End up hanging out at a gas station, truck stop, with some people that are living in their cars, and I'm sitting on a picnic table with them talking, and they're living in their car. They're just waiting for a social security check. You really get to see this different side of the country because you have to sit and talk with people that you wouldn't normally talk with. But guess what? They're just normal motherfuckers. So I stay up all fucking night because now I'm on the fucking street. There ain't no money for no motels. I'm under $20 is what I have. I'm talking fucking max. I'm digging through the change in the sunglasses pocket in my fucking backpack, dude.
Yeah.
And I stay up all night. I'm like, oh, dude, it gets cold in Temecula, California at night. Like, not as cold as Montana, but cold enough when you're in fucking, when you don't have a coat because you've been in Southern California, you don't need a coat.
Yeah.
You're out all night. You're like, fucking got a motel room. You're good to go. Up all night. Exhausted as fuck. I get picked up about 6 o'clock in the morning after getting there super late by a guy that was in the military. I tell him my story. Hey, I'm getting prossed out. I got caught smoking weed and shit. And he's like, oh, fuck, man. And he's like, well, I've hitchhiked. So now I'm getting knowledge. Now I'm starting to learn. This guy is like, you know what helped me hitchhiking when I was younger? A skateboard. It's a prop, dude. He's like, a prop is a major thing when you are on the road because it looks like, and a lot of people can relate, especially in California, to a skateboard. Like, that bro's a skateboarder.
He's just trying to get to the next spot.
Yeah, he's not on the run.
Taking 30 miles. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's skating
I
away
have
from his problems.
so many hitchhiking stories. This story could last for hours, and I'll tell it later.
Agreed. But that is a lot of the things that you touched on were things that you and I had to deal with as a team of hitchhikers. Solo, I think you can get away with a lot more.
Yeah.
But I was very surprised when you and I hitchhiked from, I went to Missoula and then hitchhiked back to North Dakota to pick you up. And then we went to Central America. We had to hitchhike all the way across the United States in 7 days. That was like, what, 2,200 miles?
I'm telling you, I come up with the best ideas.
I know, and what makes me even better is I bail out right before, and then I'm like, oh, I guess I'll commit.
Yeah, that was heavy.
That was crazy.
2013, we're working in North Dakota oil fields, both of us. He's not working oil. He's HVAC. Tyson's HVAC guy. I am an oil field guy. So I just jumped from one story of my very first hitchhiking trip to now we're dueling hitchhiking, which is, we're going to Tarantino the shit out of this, whatever. But at least we can both talk about that. It's not just me telling you a story. So This is amazing. 2013, work all summer, literally break up with our girlfriends. I don't know how many girlfriends you go through. 1, 2 that year?
1, 2, I don't know, 7.
Yeah, 7. Half a baker's dozen. Anyways, my girlfriend fucking totally leaves me, and we were already talking about going on this trip.
Yeah, we had, we do like we usually do.
Yeah.
We bought tickets in July on the anticipation that we're going to leave at the end of October, November, and be gone for a couple months. And that summer kind of faded away, and now it's time to leave. Well, I wasn't going to go on the fucking trip. So I was hitchhiking back to Missoula in the hopes that I could secure a job. And you called me. I hitchhiked from our spot, that Quonset hut out in Freud.
I do not
Homestead.
remember you leaving.
I left.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I fucking ditched. You were on a haul. You were gone.
No,
Like,
I was
didn't
working.
see you for a while. Yeah, that's what I mean.
With Tad.
Yeah. And I go back to Missoula, and you called me. You're just like, dude, are you coming on this fucking trip or what? And I was like, God damn it, I guess I am.
Tickets are booked. Mind you, I've always
I
wanted
know,
to be
but I
on the
was
Amazing
scared.
Race. I'm trying to tell this audience. I always wanted to be on The Amazing Race. I liked it. I maybe watched one episode, to be totally honest, but I was like, that's a fucking neat premise. And I was like, oh, man, we could do that to ourselves for fucking free. We don't have to win any money. The experience is the same. You're not competing against anybody but yourself to get across the country. So it's like, all right, Tyson, let's book some fucking tickets out of LaGuardia, New York airport, and we'll hitchhike there, and we'll see how it goes.
I remember booking my ticket and sending you a screenshot. That was like the first time I'd ever done that, or one of them. And you were like, no fucking way. What flight? What airport? Because we had been drunk talking about it in that beat field for 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that happened there with hopping freight trains and all sorts of stuff, but I'll talk about that in another podcast.
So anyway, yeah, we booked these tickets, and we set off. We drove your Audi from the Quonset hut up north down to Cindy and Tony's shop, parked that there, knowing that it would be safe.
Did I park it at Cindy and Tony's?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I can't remember some stuff. I left it there. That was nice of them.
It was Dad's birthday, and he was going to give us a ride, but he ditched out on us the night before.
Yeah, I don't know. Can't remember.
Anyway, we took off from Sydney, and on day one, had 7 days, and yeah, it didn't take very long. We got rides down to Glendive. From Glendive, we started heading towards Bismarck, and we met some crazy people. That one guy with the Audi that picked us up, we kept having to get out and like slam the CV joint with a hammer to get it back into the...
That was a Mercedes.
Or a Mercedes, yeah.
Yeah.
And he was telling us about this comet with a virus that was coming for us. No shit.
See, I don't remember some bullshit like that. I can't remember all of the conversations that we had, but when I look back on pictures, I can remember some stuff. Mm-hmm. All I remember is a trip like that will change your life. And what we were doing was guerrilla camping. And in the beginning of this situation, we're like, okay, we are going to document this. That went right out the window. We never documented it. I posted one video on YouTube saying we need rides in 2013, and we were off. We didn't know how to document, and I'm really trying to learn that right now, along with a podcast and all this stuff. So we get that ride. We both already know it's possible to hitchhike, but we've never hitchhiked with two people. And so, but we get out of Sydney, Montana. We get to Glendive, Montana. We get from Glendive, we get to Bismarck. Like, holy fuck, okay, this is day one. And we started at like noon.
Yeah.
So we're doing pretty good. And what we have is these military-style sleeping bags that are bivy sacks. They're camouflage. They're the shit. So the whole idea of this trip is to not spend a fucking dime to get to New York City and get rides all the way there, not spend a dime, sleep in ditches. You tell this to some people, dude, they have no idea. They can't relate. This is a tough topic to talk about. And if somebody on Spotify right now or Anchor finds this, continue to listen, because there's going to be more. I have so many stories when it comes down to hitchhiking and freight hopping and just cheap ass travel. Yeah, that most people don't believe, because obviously I'm not like a normal person when it comes down to weird shit like this. It's not normal. It's not normal. For me, it's totally cool. And the amount of street smarts that this teaches you is way more than you're ever going to learn in your small town. I mean, people are sheltered, and in order to not be sheltered, you have to take some risks, mitigate them, and just live.
At the beginning of experiences like this, I felt like it was not common practice for everybody to be doing this, and it's reinforced every time somebody, like, we're at the bar or at dinner or something, like, I cannot believe you guys hitchhiked this far. I can't believe you went here, went there. And it's just a kind of a testament to stepping out on a limb and taking that chance, and it's good. So yeah, we're heading across Midwest United States.
Oh man,
We get to Chicago.
go straight. We get to Bismarck. We have these bivy sacks. We're like, we are going to sleep in a rest area, inside the rest area. Again, we don't know what we're doing. We're like, okay, it's 2 dudes. We're not going to get motels. We're going to save all that money for Central America.
There's
And
no one around.
no, it's in the middle of nowhere. We're dropped off on a rest area in the middle of nowhere. Night 1. Bivy sacks, thermarests, backpacks. I don't think hardly any food, and like coats because it's October and it's pretty brisk out. Well, this place has Wi-Fi. Fucking around on our phones. We're super excited.
Yeah, pumped to the max, like 11 out of 10.
Like, check it out. We made it to Bismarck. Okay, again, it shows you the possibilities. This is fucking possible. Right now, so far off to a good start. Now, if we were back in Glendive, I would have been like, oh, no.
Maybe this is a bad idea.
This is a bad idea because now we just lost one day and we've only made it like 70 miles. But now we're like 300 miles. I'm just going to guess 300 miles possibly into this trip. Maybe less. And we're in this
Rest area, just bullshitting. Like, I was filming a little deal for, it was YouTube or Facebook or something. And I was like, hey guys, progress report. We made it to X spot. And we just got to figure out where we're going to try and find a spot to sleep outside this rest area so no one bugs us. And I stopped that recording because somebody came out of the bathroom. His name is Aaron Ponchard. And he was like, what are you boys up to?
Probably not smart to tell people's names on here, but I mean, maybe they won't listen. I can bleep it out. Go ahead.
I still talk to him every now and then. I don't think he would care.
Great dude.
Anyway,
Dude.
We tell him our story. We have a time frame. We need to get to New York so we can catch his flight to go to Central America. And he kind of looks at us like, you guys are fucking full of shit.
Yeah.
And
I remember him looking at us and being like, no, like, okay, you're either fucking serial killers, you're on the run, you're felons, something. I'm like, no, dude, we have our passports and everything. I'm not sure. Maybe he asked to ask, or
To
he
see
asked
them.
to see them.
Yeah.
But I think that was later on in the trip. Anyways, homeboy's just like, I just picked up a dog. Like, I got this
from Santa Fe.
yeah, I don't remember that. So you got to tell that.
So anyway, this guy's like, I'll think about it. Let me go back out to my truck. And about 15, 20 minutes goes by. He comes back in the rest area. He's like, you guys ready to go? Just need to let you know there's a German Shepherd in the cab. It's a sleepover cab on a big rig.
Yeah.
And he's like, she's totally friendly. I found her in the middle of fucking nowhere in the desert. I can't remember what city it was. And that dog ended up being a sweetheart. And that guy drove us like 700. He drove us all the way from Bismarck to fucking Madison, Wisconsin. That's like 750 miles.
Which is
And he did it in one shot.
fucking
He's like,
huge.
fuck logging the books. I'm not stopping at scales. I'm unloaded. I'm going home.
Yeah, he
And
was
he was
hauling
hauling
ass.
ass.
Dude, and I got to sleep so good that night. You were jacked up. You're talking to him the whole night and stuff. You get to Madison, Wisconsin on night 2. You're like, holy fuck, it is totally possible.
We're in the middle
Dude,
of nowhere now.
Night 3, we're in fucking Chicago.
Getting ready to go to a concert.
Yeah. So, night 3. Now we've made it to fucking Chicago, dude. On a 7-day trip. This is unreal. You can't make this shit up, and you also, a lot of people can't believe it because it's unreal. And even sitting here talking about it gets me pumped up to go back out on the road and be like, okay, I'm in fucking Helena, Montana. I can be in Butte in like fucking 2 hours. I guarantee you, I would place a fucking bet on it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little over 2 hours.
I'll bet you my shoes.
Yeah, I would dress good, smile, get some sweet shades, dude. That's a rule. And
So we're in Chicago.
Chicago.
We pull into that motherfucker.
Union
and
Station, because I think I'd been there before. I'd been there before, and I was like, there's lockers in Union Station that we can rent.
Mm-hmm.
And we could put our bags in there. And how the fuck did
Were
this
we
happen?
supposed to know?
No, hold on.
Oh.
How the fuck? Jeffrey Lewis, this artist that I've been listening to since 2008, and he's a hitchhiker and stuff, and he does anti-folk, punk, rock, acoustic music. It's
And comics. He's an excellent artist
yeah,
in all sorts of the phrase. Whatever.
yes, and I'm like, let's get these fucking tickets. We're gonna Jeffrey Lewis is in Chicago tonight. Okay, now we got to get a locker. As we're walking around, it's the first time I ever had guacamole was in Chicago, dude. And I was fucking hungry.
The look on your face.
Yeah. So, but also, I'll take it back real fast. We have made $20 since we got there, totally,
yeah, that's
because
right.
Aaron gave us $20 bill, which bought us food for the next day because we're not eating a ton.
No, we spent maybe $7 in 2 days on food, and it was like a corn dog a piece.
Yeah, now
and
we're
some
up.
Coffee.
Now we're up like $20. So we've made money. We made it to Chicago.
We take the L train to Shubas in North Chicago and go watch this show. With the extra cash, we got burgers and like pulled pork sandwiches and shit.
Oh
Get
wait,
ready for the show.
we did buy.
Public transit ticket.
No,
but
no,
that
no,
was
no,
with free
no.
money.
Yes, we got that, and we also got concert tickets, which I think they were $20 a piece. So now we're $40 in the hole, roughly, in Chicago because of the concert.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, we go see Jeffrey Lewis. I meet this girl. Man, I always kick it off with these girls on these trips, and it's
I've
like
seen it a couple times. It's
and
remarkable.
it is, and they're fucking gorgeous in my mind. I'm like, that girl is beautiful. I would love to get to know her more, but it's such a sweet moment to share with another human being, like watch that show together. I'll never see her again. I almost can't remember her name. It started with a C, but that part doesn't matter. But I had an amazing time with this girl, dude. Shared a moment with a girl that liked Jeffrey Lewis, because I've never met another female that even fucking knew who he was,
Right.
for one. So I'm like, this is amazing. We're eating, we're drinking beer, eating food, having a good time, watch this show, talk to Jeffrey Lewis. He invites us to his fucking house in New York when we get there. It's not going to work. The beauty of that is
2 days after our departure date, and had his tour shortened up just a little bit before that, I bet we would have gone. And
I would have
with him.
stayed there. I would have totally
Absolutely.
stayed there. But so Chicago, the show closes. We get invited to Jeffrey Lewis' house. We never
I
go
got
because it's.
fucking hammered.
I think you got food poisoning.
I think I got food poisoning too, but it shouldn't have happened that quick.
I
think part of it is because we had limited our food intake because of our budget. We wanted to do this with little to no money, so I didn't have much food in my stomach. We show up, I eat greasy fucking cheeseburgers and start drinking IPAs at this bar, and then I'm puking in the planter outside and behind the fucking dumpster.
You were puking in the subway.
I was dry heaving. We show up to Union Station. I am fucking green. I'm so sick.
Yeah, but we're walking downtown Chicago in the middle of the night.
It's like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Easily. And it's amazing. And we're boozed up. And it was
So we stumble up to the front door of Union Station. Clunk, clunk. Fucking doors are locked.
Yeah.
Our bags, our sleeping systems, everything is in there.
Are in locker 420.
Yeah.
They were.
Next to a broken bottle of red wine on the floor.
Can't remember that, but
Jesus. So we're standing there and was like, fuck, now what are we going to do? Because all we have is our phones and the clothes on our back. And this voice off to the left is like, hey, boys, you ain't getting in there till fucking 6 o'clock in the morning.
yeah.
And I was like, seriously? It's going to, yeah.
We're
it's
fucked.
Locked.
Oh, obviously, it's locked. We know it's locked. Now we're talking to a guy that's sleeping on the street. Homeless. Must be. He sure as hell isn't in between shifts.
Not at 1 a.m.
So, dude, this guy is so nice. Like, homeless people, they get a bad rap. Drugs, alcohol, mental illness. And he's like, yeah, it's going to be cold tonight, but underneath that, over there underneath the Sears Tower, kind of across the river, he's like, there's a fan that blows hot air down.
Hot air. Very hot air.
And he's like, here, take these bags and this cardboard. He gives us 2 fucking trash bags out of the kindness of his heart. and a good sized chunk of cardboard, a couple of chunks of cardboard that we were able to rip in half. This motherfucker's done this before. And so where do we go? We go over there and we sleep in the fucking bushes at
Flop
Union
underneath
Station.
that exhaust fan and just,
Yeah.
it was warm the whole night. At the end of October, it was almost Halloween.
Dude, that was a brutal fucking night. I was so tired. The next morning, we're in Union Station. We're asking cops, like, how do I get out of Chicago? Where's the next truck stop? And they're like, you're in Chicago. Step the fuck back, motherfucker. The cop, I was like, whoa, dude. I was like, yeah, this guy's a dick. He's like, step away from me multiple times. I'm like, dude, we're like one arm's distance, and he's a dick. And I'm eating, and I give $1 to a crackhead for some reason. That's probably why he was so pissed off. He's got to deal with those motherfuckers all the time inside Union Station eating fucking McDonald's and stuff. I'm tired. I was like, you know what? I'm going to give up. I want to give up. You want to give up? You're like, yeah. And we're like, fucking just about to give up. We're like, we got to get the fuck out of this city. So we break the hitchhiking code. We get a bus for like at least 20 miles out of the fucking city. Try to get the fuck out of the city.
Yeah.
And there's cops everywhere. I got this pipe called the Bat, I believe. And I'm taking it back to my cousin
In Connecticut.
Yeah, he was on the first and second podcast. And I'm taking this bat that I've transported from Alaska. Dude, this pipe it's still around. It's seen some shit. And so I'm taking this pipe back to my cousin, meanwhile smoking weed at the time. I don't do drugs or alcohol anymore. That part doesn't really matter. But at this time, I definitely was indulging in fucking everything. So I'm taking this weed pipe back to my cousin, and we are going to board this bus that's taking us like 20 miles out of the city so we can start hitchhiking again. Cops everywhere, fucking looking through bags. They opened the bag, looked at the pipe and the bag of weed that was sitting there. They didn't say shit. I got on the bus. I was like, holy fuck. Holy fuck. How is this possible? Dude, got on the bus, sleep for like fucking it takes 20 miles out.
Yeah.
20 miles out of the city is
with a bunch of stops.
It takes some time in a bus. And we get out of the city. Now we're back in it. Now we're sleeping on the ground.
Yeah, we're in Ohio.
We're like, okay, we've fucking beat ourselves to death already. This is night 4. I think we make it to Ohio. Yeah.
Yeah, outside by where Dusty P lived.
Yeah. So
and we crashed out at this little rest stop
in the bushes. I have it screenshot on my phone.
Underneath some picnic tables because it was kind of rainy and shit. And I wake up first. I had to piss real bad. So I went back over to the facilities, and a guy pulled in, and he was picking up trash and everything, and he was like 10 feet away from you. And I took a picture of that. And he was standing there looking right over the top of you, like the bags blended in so well with the fall foliage of all those oak trees and shit. Like, you couldn't even tell we were there. It was awesome. But
dude, that is one way to camp. Guerrilla camping, urban camping in the bushes, like a hobo, like a bum, for lack of a better term. But just a traveler that's going through. We learned, here's another lesson we learned. You're on the road, you're sleeping in the dark bushes, right? Nobody's fucking with you in the dark bushes. Nobody's going over there to be like, hey, what's in the dark bushes at the rest area? Fucking nobody, except for the people that are sleeping in there, and that is us. And we were fucking raining, and we're sleeping in the dirt. We're kicking shit to the side. Luckily, it's October. We don't have a ton to worry about with bugs and stuff. And that's the rest of the trip, is basically sleeping at rest areas in the ditch.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like a fucking beautiful thing. I took my iPad and stuff on that. I was fucking totally luxurious, watching movies, kicking back, being like, I'm in a fucking ditch on the side of the freeway, watching a fucking movie.
Eating pizza and shit.
Yeah,
And,
now we start spending a little bit of money to get food. I mean, not
and
much.
people were still giving us stuff like
Oh, yeah.
left and right. And we were not asking for it. All we wanted was
Oh, yeah.
free rides.
Yeah.
That was the
That's
thing. We
always
don't want
safe.
your money. We don't need your food. Like, we can make ends meet, but
Help
we
us
just
get
want
to New
your
York
ride.
City.
Yeah.
This is where you're like, you don't say New York City because people see New York City when they're driving and they're like, fuck, I'm not going to New York City. I'm only going 80 miles.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started learning, like, don't put something out there that's no farther than 100, 150 miles at best. And if you're in a metropolis or an
Yeah. Limit your expectation of how far you can go, and you greatly
And then
increase
talk.
the amount of rides that you can get.
yeah. Yeah, if you say New York, people are like, well, that's fucking crazy.
Going from Helena to New York,
They don't-
no one's going to fucking pick you up because they're
They
like,
don't-
I'm not going all the way there.
They do not think, yeah, I'm going there. I'm not going to New York. They don't think,
I'm only going
oh,
to Townsend.
I can
Well, that'll
only
help.
I can only take them 100 miles. That won't get them any, that won't help
It
them.
does. Sometimes that means a better night's sleep because of the location that you're able to.
It's major.
to? Yeah.
That's something you learn by default. I mean, you have to learn from your mistakes with that. Like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. And we've had a lot of both together and alone, a lot of crazy hitchhiking experiences and like, holy shit, I can't believe I got that right. But when we got back from Central America,
Let's keep going with the Central America stuff. I don't want to be bouncing all over the place.
it was
Dude.
related to hitchhiking.
It is
and was
totally
when we got
related.
back.
But we're in the middle of this trip with this story. We're going to continue on with that
Okay.
just because we're not going to bounce around.
It's hard not to.
Yeah, but stay focused here for a second. We make it we go way out of the way to get to New York. We go all the way up to fucking Buffalo.
Pascani, Atlas. Yeah, we
Yeah,
were in.
we go there, Finger Lakes area, Buffalo, and then we have to drop down to Hartford, Connecticut, where we meet our cousin. Now I get to bring this weed pipe back to him. It has traveled from Skagway, Alaska to Montana via fucking planes, trains, and automobiles. Not even fucking joking. It came on a ferry all the way back to the lower 48, and then I was using it for the summer, and then I took it to him. And I threw my boots when we met up with him. I threw my boots in the bushes, just threw them away. I mean, I littered. I'm sorry. I bet you they're
Somebody
still...
found them and they're probably using them.
No, they were pretty tore up. That's why I took them, and I was like, okay, I'll take these, and I always take some sort of shitty clothes that are warm that I can get rid of, because that... I don't want to take anything of too much value that I'm attached to ever when I'm doing an expedition like that.
Yeah, you're not taking heirlooms. It's disposable shit.
Everything is disposable. I love having the phone. The only thing you really need is a phone and a wallet. Everything else...
And a decent pack.
A decent pack, but you can get everything else no matter what, anywhere, all the time. And then you were like, I use that tool. And it's a tool. And when you're like, oh, goodbye, tool. We get back, give this fucking pipe to our cousin. We put our sleeping bags. This is where we keep some shit. Put our sleeping bags, my comic books, mail them back to Montana.
Yeah, from Lee, Massachusetts.
Lee, Massachusetts, somewhere. Anyways, we get these boxes, mail that shit back. Dude, that's like mailing a time capsule to yourself, knowing that you're going out of the country for a while. And are you ready for this? No. But now, check it out. You don't have a fucking sleeping system. You don't have that jacket that you had because you're going to fucking tropical area. And you don't have some of the things, the tools that you used on your trip. So you're starting to feel a little naked. And you're like, okay, cousin, mail this shit off. Shit's starting to hit the fan. Like, fuck, dude. The flight, mind you, we mail this shit at like midday. It's the last day of the trip. We go hang out with our cousin for...
2 hours maybe.
Not much, dude.
It was very small amount of time because we started this trip and had to be there in 7 days.
Yeah. It's day
This
6.
is day 6, like hour
At 6
18.
o'clock in the evening now.
Yeah, we're fucking almost out of time.
It's fucking real.
Takes us to the train station. It's like, see you later, guys.
We get on the
Into
train
New
station.
York.
Yeah. Get on the train, go into New York, playing on your phones and stuff. This is before I would even take a charger, to charge these fucking things. So we got to find power outlets on these old iPhone 2s. Such an amazing time. Thank God for iPhone back then. Like, this was really changing shit. We would have never made it in 7 days if we didn't know, hey, there's an exit just up there, because we would have had to spend the better time walking. And Google Maps was like, holy shit, it's changing the way you're traveling. Hitchhiking. First hitchhiking trip, flip phone. Nightmare. One notebook, flip phone, jug of water, minimal.
Day 3, made another mistake.
Yeah.
Ellipses.
Yeah, text messages where you got to hit the button like 3 times to get to a
T9
Y.
word.
Yeah. And it's like all abbreviations. Make it to the fucking airport midnight. Just about midnight. It's fucking day 7 now.
Yeah, our flight leaves at 3:34 in the morning. So we just crash out on some heat ventilators and shit.
Dude, and I swear to God, bounce back just real fast. When we were on the subway and we got off the subway, it was exactly like a fucking movie.
Yeah.
When I was on the
Big-ass
streets in
rats
New
and
York, wherever the fuck
garbage
we were,
bags everywhere.
there was trannies, there was
Fucking drug deals nonstop. People doing them right there in front of you. Don't give a shit. There was a pizza station.
I'm not used
like
to
a
New
pizza
York,
place.
dude. I'm from Montana.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm ready to go back. I want to see that fucking place. It is different
and it was
than
loud
anything
as
I've ever.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Compared to what we're used to, and sleeping even next to the highway. Like, we're used to a little bit quieter scenario, but to get to the city and be like, burr, 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 fucking, that was
Heavy.
A pretty good preface for what we ended up
Like Chicago
seeing on down the road.
Chicago is
was
nothing
different
in comparison.
compared to New York.
Maybe it was just the neighborhood we were at. Now we get to our flights. I get checked in. We're on the same flight.
No,
we're on different
we're on
flights.
different flights.
Yes,
both flights.
more complicated.
LaGuardia to Miami or Fort Lauderdale, one of the two. So my New York to Florida and then to Panama City. Your flight goes off without a hitch.
Yep.
I'm sitting there with cast members of the Jersey Shore, so it seemed. This lady was pissed off, and her boyfriend accidentally fucked up one of her bracelets. And she just starts punching him in the fucking face. We had to get off the tarmac, unload, get rid of her, and then get back in rotation. So my flight was delayed by probably 2 hours. Meanwhile, Devan's sending me text messages. Just landed in fucking Florida, dude. Get ready to go to Central America. I'm like, I hope I can at least get to Florida.
Yeah, for a connecting flight, but it'll all work out. You're fine to get there.
Yeah.
But it's like, fuck, I just traveled across the fucking country in probably the stupidest way. And now a lady's fighting a guy on the plane. Like, what the fuck is next? A bomb? And then now you're like, finally, we're leaving. It's good.
I barely make my flight to leave Florida for Panama.
No, tell them what the fuck else happened. You didn't make your fucking flight. They had to fucking drive your ass from one airport to the other.
Oh,
you don't remember that?
Yeah, I do.
You lived that. What airport?
They flew me into Fort Lauderdale.
I don't know. I wasn't on it.
I think, and then I had to drive down to Miami-Dade.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had like an hour and 45 minutes to get that done.
And I'm sitting
and you're
in Panama.
Literally
I'm in Panama.
in there.
I'm there.
And I'm still trying to fucking figure that stuff out. I made it.
Every trip we ever take, we somehow fucking split up. It's crazy, and it's good. The
good.
one after that was in the Middle East, coming back from Egypt to fucking Asia. Yeah. But that's not this trip. Now, holy fuck. I've made it. You haven't made it. There's this huge dilemma. You can literally drink alcohol. I mean, you can drink alcohol anywhere, but they have like testing things in the airport in Panama. It's all neat and all, being an alcoholic then. Drinking, I'm waiting, hanging out, trying to sleep. I've slept in airports a lot. So I just know I need to get some rest, charge my phone, wait for Tyson when he gets there. It's like a race. It's like I got time to sit and wait, and then when he gets there, I don't have time to wait. I'm like, you're getting on the fucking car. Now it's dark. It's like dark in Panama.
Again, it's after midnight.
This is a huge deal for you.
Yeah. And this is the very first time I've ever been out of the country, minus Canada. But
Yeah,
I feel like
Canada.
Canada is so similar to how we.
Everybody says that. Yeah.
So I'm in a Latin American country, and
First time. No,
I'm sitting
no
in the
habla.
front seat. Yeah, no habla. And I'm sitting in the front seat of a taxi, and Devan's back there. He's been to Costa Rica before, so now we're in Panama, and the
I
guy's
barely
like, "Where
have
do
an
you want to go?"
idea. Yeah, we're like a
And we
fucking
got
hostel.
this stupid little phones like take us to Luna's castle,
Yeah.
and got ripped off.
You
obviously.
always do.
Yeah,
I mean,
first
you
time,
don't have to.
but-
You don't. You just don't
No,
know.
but
There's firsts.
How do you
man.
know? Like, I had literally been in the country for fucking 25 minutes. Yeah, got a ride to the hostel, and the Costa Rica, Panama story will be one for another time, but I'd like to skip ahead to the end because it's also hitchhiking.
Oh, I'm just gonna paraphrase real fast what the fuck Central America was. It was fucking awesome. Way outside of our budget. We're fucking irresponsible. I'm talking snorting cocaine, drinking beers, fucking hanging out,
Cacique rum,
drinking a ton of alcohol. Really not, it was like
not knowing how, like, what to pay for.
not knowing anything.
Rides,
Not
yeah,
even knowing
nothing.
anything about tours. But we're fucking there. We're doing it. And we're like, what do we do? Well,
Now
let's go
we're
to the fucking Panama Canal. We check out the Panama Canal. And then we're like, I heard Bocas del Toro is fucking beautiful. So let's go to Bocas. So that's where we end up going. And we stay there for a little while. Anyways, by the end of that trip, we run out of money. It's like, fuck, we made it to Costa Rica. We were planning on coming all the way back. This
Yeah,
is
like-
another lesson to be taught. Take more money than you fucking think you should, and
lot
don't
more.
drink your whole ass across the fucking country. And don't fucking do cocaine all the time, because when you start drinking and doing drugs, you're like not using your brain correctly at all. Money's going out the window. You're getting fucking food that you shouldn't be getting when you could totally budget. And now you're fucking... It's just be safe, be smart about it. But when you're irresponsible 24-year-old kid, that's what you're fucking doing, man.
Yeah.
You can't know
No, you
how to
have-
travel unless you learn how to travel.
Yeah,
I didn't have a
sometimes-
mentor. I had to learn the fucking hard way by being like, I booked a ticket.
Being in it.
I had to go. I had to learn. And I'm still learning every day. Every trip I take, I'm in a trip right now, saving for December. That's my goal. That's it. And so, back to Central America, out of money. We hitchhike in Costa Rica
Yeah, from Jaco to San Jose.
to get back to the airport.
We literally had $0 fucking dollars.
No, we had just enough to book
just
these
enough
tickets.
to get the rest of our stuff taken care of. Not enough to fucking buy one beer or anything. And convince this guy, kind of begged and pleaded, like, dude, we really need to get there. If we miss this fucking flight, we're stuck in
he took
stuck
us.
in Costa Rica.
He took us to San Jose,
Yeah,
Costa
he did
Rica.
a great job
We got to
hauling ass.
Yeah, as fast as fuck. And we got to the airport, and we get to this airport, and now we're like, okay, we got to figure out our tickets. We spent all day figuring out how to book a ticket for the next day out. Like, we're basically tapped out of money. Like, there's no way to stay. Our parents are not going to loan us any money for this fucking thing. It's over. We blew it on fucking cocaine and alcohol. Straight up. We seen just a few fucking things.
Yeah.
But the experience alone, like, there's a picture of you at the bus stop in San Jose, and you definitely look like you've been on a fucking drug binger. Like,
Oh, I believe it.
yeah.
Because
you-
we were.
Yeah. Which is not good. If you're listening, don't fucking drink and do drugs. It's not fucking good for you. It's especially traveling. Sure, it seems fun at the time. Next thing you know, you're out of money, and you got to cut your trip short, which is a shame because your fucking experience is getting cut short. But you're learning a valuable lesson. We book those tickets. We sleep on the fucking floor of the airport, which is concrete.
Yeah.
Maybe a thin layer of
Some
carpet.
really shitty carpet. Yeah.
And we make it.
We make it stateside.
We make it stateside. The idea is now, change the state of mind. We just traveled Central America for 14, 15, 20 days, somewhere in there. I can't remember. But it was a lot for us at the time and totally fucking reckless. Now we're like, let's just fly to Miami. It's the cheapest fucking flight out of here tomorrow. A lady helps us book these tickets because we didn't book online. We're out of cash. Or maybe we had some cash, and that's how we ended up getting them. And fly to Miami, bro. Let's go to Miami. So we fly to Miami. Now we're like, holy shit. Now we're going to have to hitchhike back across the country, but we got to find a fucking Walmart or some sort of Goodwill to get some sleeping bags because we know exactly how to get back.
Yeah. And what weather conditions we're going to encounter on our trip. So, because we're heading back in the cold.
Well, now it's fucking now it's fucking November.
Yeah.
So now we're headed back, and we're in Miami.
And it took us like 2.5 hours to get away from the airport. No one wants to give somebody a ride, and we didn't want to pay for it. We couldn't pay for a taxi, but it took 2 hours to get from the airport across the street to the gas station. And there was like 4 pumps there. Every one of them was full of cars, and we just started working left to right. Hey man, we need a ride to the next truck stop. Can you help us out? Nope. Remember that one guy had a Corona? He was drinking that fucking thing, put it back in his rig. That's when we went around the other side and met this guy in a nice red car. Music was bumping. He was playing some music, and his wife was in there like, God damn it, Howie, we got to go to the Hard Rock.
Yeah.
We're late for our fucking reservations. And he's like, shut up.
He's like, so show me your passports. You came back. We're telling him this story. We just got back from Costa Rica or whatever, and it was amazing, but we're trying to get back to Montana. So this guy straight up is just like, show me your passports. I was like, look, the stamp is like for now. Like, this is when we left. We left yesterday.
That was this morning. Yeah,
we're here this morning, whenever the hell it was. And he's like, I don't want you on the road. He gives us like $350. He's like, go stay at that motel. Call this number. He gives us a phone number to call a travel agent. Straight up a travel agent. Now we're hitchhiking a fucking plane ride.
Personal travel agent.
Yeah. Personal travel agent. At the same time, I was like really hoping for a personal private jet.
So was I. That would have been insane. But we still got free commercial tickets from fucking Miami to Bozeman.
Bozeman, Montana. Fly
the very next morning.
Very next morning.
We were eating pizza and drinking beer in the hot tub in fucking Florida, like on somebody else's dime.
How's that
Because he was
happen?
the nicest fucking person. And just being in the right place at the right time. And that right person is there too.
You never know.
You never fucking know.
That's why I know people are amazing. They're shitty people. They're probably people you know over the fact of strangers.
But when he started telling us that shit and we were there at the gas station, I was like borderline tearing up. Like, there's no way that you're that nice to, I mean, we're just looking for a ride in your car.
Yeah, I still
we
have
don't
his
want a
phone
fucking
number.
airplane. I sort of
Yeah.
I call it all the time.
But there is a hitchhiking story. You call it all the time.
I'm just
Don't
kidding.
do that. There's a hitchhiking story. I have so many more. And also, we're just getting started on podcasting. So wait for the progression. It's coming. We're going to get better at this. I'm going to get better. I'm going to continue to do this. This one was kind of rushed. We're jumping around. But lesson, stick with the story. Tell it as it came. And we'll talk about some more hitchhiking when I continue on next podcast. Thank you for listening to If You Haven't Been There podcast.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. As he likes an American spirit, he asks how I can smoke such shit. I say there's nothing like chain smoking GPC cigarettes, 'cause any smokes will kill ya, but these will make you feel like it. I sit back down on the parking lot curb and remember back to February the trip to Hartford, when 5 minutes ago he was passed out on the staircase, trying to walk to his apartment, but not making it all the way. And now he's driving us 100 miles an hour down the interstate, another beer in his hand, swearing we won't be late. That was before everyone moved to New Mexico. They all left a couple of months ago, until the day, my friend, when I sleep on the floor of your van again. I'll be waiting in this parking lot, and in my dreams I am dirty, broke, beautiful and free. My hands clenched in a fist and my face in a smile, after hitching too many miles. We aren't revolutionaries, but we are the revolution. And sometimes I think that the whole movement is just me and you, and that maybe we'd all be better off if that were true, 'cause then at least we know where we stand, and we can tell our comrades apart from the man. But if the world isn't that simple, maybe this town isn't least. And if I'm not marching with them to war, I'm sure not marching with you for peace. Class traitor, what fucking ever? I'm just another middle class kid too. But if I'm not good at changing, I'm good at self-loathing. So I'll class hate myself with you. May our only occupation be not having a job. May the only cocktails that we make be Molotov. May that day be now, and for as many days after that as we know how. It starts in this parking lot.